Good afternoon to all of you. Am I audible? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's almost 2. So please join fast. We'll start lecture within few minutes. Today we are having lecture from 2 to 3 p.m. and we are going to continue CIP. Okay. So CIP, this subject is given to me for you people. Your class is allotted for me. So we will discuss about it, but I request you all to join fast so that you all will come to know what is this subject or what is it. Okay. How many students are there in your class? Yes, I can't hear you. $64 or $74?
44.
Somebody is speaking, but
44.
50,
44.
44.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 44 students are there. Okay. And second year direct diploma, second year admission, direct second year admission. Have all of you got the number, your roll number?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So at the end of the lecture, I will take attendance and you by roll call. Okay. So you will have to say present or yes. Okay.
Okay.
Because there are 44 or more, less than 50 students. I can take it manually. Okay. So now it's almost 21 students joined to this lecture. So I will start this lecture. Or you can comment your roll number in the message box also. before end of this meeting. Not I won't say that at this instant only you have to put your own number in the chat box. Before leaving this meeting. So as you all know my name, and I was also there for you from last 1 month, okay? But for those who haven't present at that time and who didn't attend the lecture of last month, for them I have to give my introduction for once again, and the subject introduction, and for them I have to repeat that content once again. I will not take more time in that, but I will just revise that content in few lectures. So it's almost 24 participants joined to this lecture. So good afternoon to all of you. I will first introduce myself and then I will continue this lecture. So good afternoon to all of you. My name is Prasad Babar. I am from Pandarpur. I have completed my BA in English from Solapur University with first class, and I did my post graduation in English, that is MA, from Pune University with A grade. So I'm working here from last 1 year. Before teaching to you, I was there for diploma faculty, diploma students. So I have taught at Swerid's College of Engineering Polytechnic for last 4 months, and then I shifted to here at Swerid's College of Engineering, Pandarpur. It's my pleasure to take your lectures, to teach or to interact with you. So, and talking about my hobbies, I have hobbies like reading books, listening to music, reading newspapers, watching movies. So these are my hobbies. I'm trying to crack next set exam. I'm studying for that, and within a few months, I'll definitely crack that exam also. So this is about my introduction, and from this year I have allotted the second year and third year batches of electrical for the CIP, that is Communication Improvement Program. So this is the name of the subject. CIP means Communication Improvement Program. All the content that we are going to see is related to the English language, and we'll start with the basic grammar first and then move towards the skills, that is uh, writing skills, speaking skills. These skills will be discussing in the last few lectures. So this is the subject our college has uh, introduced in syllabus for you people of second year and third year, and all the content of it is nothing but the grammar that we are learning from the first standard itself. So no need to bother to that, okay? Because no one is perfect in grammar and no one is perfect in speaking also. Even I may wrong sometimes. Okay, so don't bother to start speaking or uh, uh, try speaking in English. Okay, so just you will have to practice that with your family members, your friends. You can start with your friends and family members to communicate in English. Okay, so and after a few exercise or after few days, if you are doing that exercise of speaking in English or communicating in English with your friends, your family members, then that will be uh, helpful for you, and that will decrease or that will make your fear minimum, or that will decrease your fear to communicate in English. Okay, so this is about the CIP. So let's first, as we in the last lecture, this last 1 month, we are discussing about the grammar. So before that, we have discussed about the what is the language and why it is necessary to learn the English language. So we will repeat in few lectures that part first, and we will move towards the next part. Okay, I will just revise that content once again uh, quickly, as it has uh, taught in the last lecture or last 1 month. Okay, so first of all, let me share the screen of this computer. Yes, I'm going to share your screen. Please tell me that is this visible? Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as we have discussed in the last month also, but for those who are new in this lectures, for these lectures, we will once again repeat that within few lectures. We won't be doing it for whole month. Okay, so we will just take a quick recap of this unit. Okay, so first of all, before moving towards the actual syllabus, we'll have to know about the language and what is the importance of language. Okay, so as you know that language plays a major role in communication with the people whom we are discussing or we are speaking. So we speak or we communicate with other people with the help of language. If there were no, there wasn't any language, then how we can speak or how we can communicate our feelings with the people in front of us. So is it easy or difficult? Without language, it is very difficult, because we need to have a language for any type of activity, or describing about activity. We can describe it with the help of only language. Or if you want to communicate with the person whom we are speaking to or we are talking to, it is it happens only with the help of the language. So it is very important to know the language. And as we know our language, or as we are from Maharashtra, we know our mother tongue, or and it is a state language, that is Marathi. We know our mother tongue Marathi very well. Okay, because we have that language from our childhood itself. Okay, because in our family itself we are speaking it, and we are communicating with the help of that language. But it is not the same with the language that is foreign language, and it is English language. It is not same with the English language. Why is it not same? because we are the second learner of this language. Okay, we are not first learner, or uh, we are not native learner of this language, English language. We are the second learner because our mother tongue is different from English. Okay, and speaking about the Britishers or the uh, countries where that this English language is the first language, or it is the official mother tongue of that country, there people from their childhood itself can manage to talk or speak with the help of this language, that is English language, because they have their surrounding, they have their atmosphere surrounded by people who are fond of, or who are having the habit of speaking in English. Okay, they have to speak in English because they don't know other language, and only English is the language they can speak there and use to communicate with others. But it is not with the it is not same with our Indian people, because our India is the vast and uh, very what we can say, very big country, very vast country. uh, we have more than 29 states, more than 4 to 5 union territories, and thousands of square kilometer of land area that is occupied by we Indian people. And that is why it is geographically very difficult to keep one language as mother tongue. Okay, because there are many states, there are 29 states in India, and each state has its different or own mother tongue or language. Okay, so that is why it is very difficult to keep Hindi as only, or Hindi as only the mother tongue of India, or only the official language of India. It is not easy, because uh, each state has its own language. That is, if we are living in Maharashtra, we have the official language of Marathi. If someone is from Gujarat or someone is from Rajasthan, he is having Gujarati or Rajasthani. If coming towards North India, then the states like UP, MP, Bihar, Uttar, uh, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand, these are the states they are having Hindi population, and Hindi language is the most spoken language. And moving towards the right part of India, east, the right east, northeast part of India, there are 7 states and 7 different languages of the northeastern people, such as Manipur has Manipuri, Assam has Assami, then other West Bengal has Bengali as its official language. And to the when we move towards the South India, then the southern India has many different states, and like Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu, Hyderabad, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala. So these states also has different languages. Okay, and there is no one language which is unique in India. Okay, also Hindi is not our mother official, or we can say that first language. Okay, because though we consider it as an official language, but each state has its different tongue, and we have English as a third language or second language, we can call it as. So this is the scenario of this country, our India. So then we will see what is the language first, and then we will discuss it in details. Okay, so what is the language? Language is our primary source of communication. Why is it primary? Because without language it is not possible to uh, be in a communication or connection. Okay, so that is why it is primary. Primary means prathamik, or very necessary source. So it is the primary source of communication. It's the method through which we share our ideas and thoughts with others. So with the help of language itself, we can share our ideas and thoughts with the people whom we want to speak to. Okay. So this is about the language. Some people even say that language is what separates us from animal and makes us human. So there is a major difference between we people and animal. Okay, because human being and animal is not the same. Okay, it is separate. Why it is separate? Because human is the only being, or human is the only animal which can be able to communicate with the help of language. And human is the only animal who can use his brain for different activities and skills. Okay, so that is why we are separate from animals, though sometimes human also behaves like animals, but it's the natural tendency of the animal. Okay, so because of that language only, because of the language only, we are separated from animals. Can animals do speak with the help of language? No. Why? Because they don't have ability to create or to form a language. Okay, they don't have ability to speak with the help of language or with the use of language. Okay, animals have not that much developed screen, developed brain. Okay, so only human has that much developed brain, and who can use his brain for different skills. So speaking or communicating with the help of language is also the one of the major or important skill that uh, human being has. Okay, so there are also thousands of languages in this world. Countries have their own national language in addition to a variety of local languages spoken and understood by their people in different regions. So as you know that in the world there are more than 190 or the 190 plus countries are there in the world, and each country has its own official language or mother tongue. And in the countries in these countries also there are many states uh, which are dividing that country. Okay, so each state also has its own language. So mm, by viewing in that perspective, we can see that there are more than thousands of language in the world. Also there are some regions where uh, the people has not that much developed their language skills. When we move towards the tribal areas of African countries or Indian continent also, we can see that they also has not that much developed their instincts regarding the language. Okay, so the tribal languages, there are tribal languages which are spoken by the thousands of people or less than thousands. It may be in 3 digits. Okay, so uh, that is why there are 1,000 languages in the world, and countries have their own national language in addition to a variety of local languages. So there are also local languages are also spoken at the local level, okay, and understood by their people in different regions. So there are different regions in the country also, but and just a minute. So there are local languages spoken and understood by their people in different regions. Okay, so some languages are spoken by millions of people and others are only by few thousands. Okay, so there are some languages like English, which has spread all over the world. So it is the language which is spoken at each corner of the world. Okay, so this language is that much spread all over the world, and it is because of that the Britishers have ruled all over the world, and they were the rulers before the World War First. Okay, they were the rulers, and that is why we got this language as a gift from them. Okay, so some languages are spoken by millions, but few others or others other languages uh, which are spoken by only a few thousands, like tribal languages. Okay, so that is why we have to know what is the language and why is it necessary. Okay, so why do we learn English language? Let's see its reasons, let's discuss them. Okay, so as you know that English was the originally the language of England. It was brought by the Britishers to different countries where they have ruled over that country. Okay, so it was originally the language of England, but through the historical efforts of the British Empire, it has become the primary or secondary language of many former British colonies such as United States, Canada, Australia, India, South African continent, African continent, Asian continent. So this is the scenario. English was originally spoken by the Britishers. It was the original language, it was the language which is originated from England. Okay, so before 1,000 years ago, there was not that much developed English. Okay, so the language which has the history of 1,000 years, before 1,000 years, English was not that much developed language. Okay, so it's 21st century. Uh, if we move back, okay, if we return back, if we move back to before the 1,000 years, then you can see that the language English was not that much developed language. Okay, so it has influenced, or it is influenced with other languages like French, Italy, then Rome, and other German language. So when Britishers uh, were under the rule of French people, or uh, the different tribes, Germanic tribes that where that was there in the western side of Europe. Okay, so at that time when French invaded the England, and they imposed their language in England. Okay, so it was the first country which invaded the British or England was the French, France. Okay, so that is why English is influenced by French, Italian, and Roman language. Okay, so before the 1,000 years, English was not that much pure. Okay, the English at this present moment is most pure language, and before 1,000 years it was influenced with other languages like French, German. Okay, so in the uh, 16th or 17th century, when Britain becomes the most prominent country, they invaded different countries and different continents. So uh, yes, before 17th century, when England was the most prominent empire, British Empire was the most prominent empire, and they invaded the world. Okay, they started invasion. They started their victory with uh, invading the uh, American continent, North American continent. Okay, and they made their own colony there, and now at this moment it is identified, or it is very well known as the USA, United States of America. So in the 17th century, USA now at the present moment it is USA, but before the 17th century it was only the piece of land. Okay, so it was invaded by the Britishers and they made their colony. Okay, they made that American continent as their colony, and they imposed, means they started uh, to teach their language, English language there. So in by these historical efforts, the British Empire has become the primary, or uh, uh, British Empire has become the most prominent empire or most dominant empire in the world. Okay, so English was originally the language of England, but through the historical efforts of the Britishers, it has become the primary or secondary language of many former British colonies, such as United States, Canada, Australia, India, African continent, African countries. So this is about their history. Okay, so currently English is the primary language of not only countries actively touched by British impression, but also many business and cultural spheres dominated by those countries. So at the present moment, English has become the global language. Okay, so it is the most spoken language in the world. It is the language which is spread all over the world. At each corner of the world, you can see that, or you can find that someone is speaking, or someone is conveying his message or her message uh, with the help of language, this language, English language. So that is why this is the most prominent language and very important language that we should know about. Okay. But many business and cultural spheres dominated by those countries. So nowadays business, or we can say that cultures, different cultural spheres are also dominated by these countries. Okay. uh, Means let me tell you that when we uh, we do trade with other countries, okay, the countries which are foreigner to us, when we want to trade with that country, we have to use, or we have to use the language of communication, and that is only the English language. Okay, because most of the trade is going with the help of this language. And in the cultural spheres, means talking about the cultures, if we want to know about the culture of the foreign country, okay, so what we have to do is, we can only know the culture, different cultures uh, of other countries, by only communicating with the help of this language. Okay, because it is the most spread language. Okay, and without English you can't get the knowledge of cultures that are present in each corner of the world. Okay, so that is why it is the important language. It is the language of Hollywood and the language of international banking and business. As we have discussed it, it is the language of Hollywood, because many of the Hollywood movies, they have the English as a language of communication. Okay, as we are fond of the Hollywood movies, because they have the technical expertise. Okay, they are the technically very perfect than us. They have different technologies, they have different VFX effects, and that is why they become the superior to our films. Our films are also fighting very good with them, but we have little but lack of technical expertise. Okay, that is why these Hollywood movies can be seen, or can be watched all over the world. Okay, and a language of international banking and business. So the language of international banking is also the English language. Okay, so international banking use English as their communication language. And it is also the language of business, because as you know that business happens, or trade between two countries uh, uh, is going to going ahead, or is led with the help of this language. Okay, so that is why it is the most important language. As such, it is a useful and even necessary language to know. So it is very useful and necessary language that we must know, or we must have the knowledge of. So this is about the why do we learn English. Okay, so the next is also the reasons of why to learn this language. Okay, so globalization covers all aspects of life. As you know that globalization has covered all the has touched all the aspects of life. Deep understanding is very important in each and every field. So as you know that globalization, what is the globalization means? It is the globalization means reaching all over the world. Okay, now at this moment I am speaking with you, I am conducting a lecture on your class. So this is also the good example, or this is also the example of fruits of globalization. Okay, we are taking benefits of this globalization or internet evolution. Okay, this happened because of net evolution. Okay, internet evolution. So that is why globalization is the most important term that we use uh, in these days. Okay, so as it has covered all aspects of life, it is very important to know or it is important to get knowledge of any foreign language. I won't say that you have to take the knowledge of only English. You have to take that knowledge of this English language, but you can also explore yourself by learning different languages like French or German. Okay, so but for learning the French or German language, you must be very good at your English. Okay, you must be perfect, or you must be good in the English language to learn the other foreign languages like French or German language. So this is about the globalization, and without proper communication, it is not possible to be in the connection. Okay, so we are communicating with each other because of proper communication. Okay, so if there wasn't any proper communication in between us, if there was a uh, internet issues or network issues in between us, in between both of us, then can we be able to do the communication very properly or easily? No, we can't. So that is why without proper communication, it is not possible to be in a connection. And what media or what type of media we are using for communication? We are using different medias. We are using electronic media. We are using social media. We are using social media network sites. Okay, so these are the network sites. For example, uh, we are using Facebook, Instagram, Google. Then we are using WhatsApp, Telegram, app, Twitter. So these are called as social media apps. Okay, with the help of these apps, we are communicating, or we do our communication with the other peoples, or with our relatives, or with the people uh, outside of our family. Okay, so this is the network, or this is the internet evolution. Because of that, we are taking the benefits uh, to communication, or to improve our communication. And these are the social media network sites like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, that we are using for instant messaging. Okay, instant messaging. Before 20, 30, 20, 25 years, there were no any social media apps or the, networks, social media networks, which are used for communication purpose. They were only having letters and uh, telegrams, like facilities for the instant messaging. Okay, so that is why it was very slow service. Okay, nowadays it is the time of the instant messaging apps. Okay, and we are taking benefit of that. So these are also called as the fruits of evolution. Okay, or fruits of globalization. And without globalization, we were never, or means we weren't be there. Okay, we won't be in a communication with each other without globalization or without the development of these uh, information technology. Okay, so therefore it is important to know how English language has united the people. Okay, it's will unite people is the wrong. Okay, therefore it is important to know how English language has united people. It is a universally accepted language. So English is also called as the universally accepted language because all of we know that English is spoken across all over the world. Okay, we are using English as a language of communication. You are also using it for communication with the with your family members or with your teachers, with your mentors, with your friends. So that is why it is the universally accepted language. All over the world, it is accepted universally. Okay. Let's see the reasons to learn this language. Why do we learn this language? Let's see it. So why do we learn this language? What are the reasons? So let's see the reasons first. It is essential for work. It is essential for work. Why it is essential? Because it is the official language of work. Okay, it is the official language of the work. We see that as we are living in the Maharashtra, Marathi is our mother tongue, but officially we use Marathi and English also for the official work. Okay, so we use Marathi, but there is also the option to use English language. Okay, so that is why it is essential for the work. And second is it is the universal language. It is the universal language. Why it is universal? Because it is universally accepted by all over the world, or it is universally accepted by the people living in each corner of the world. It will open the door of new cultures. So in the world, we can see that there are many culture spheres, or we can see that there are different countries having different cultures. We Indian people also has different culture. We are following the Eastern culture, but let if we move towards the European countries or Western countries, then we can find that they are following the Western culture. Okay, this culture is not that much different, but it is somewhat different from us. Okay, it is the modernized culture. Okay, it is the modern culture. So to know the different cultures or to open the doors of new cultures, it is necessary to learn this language. It is necessary to know the English language. If you want to study different cultures or cultures in the different countries, then how to study them? With the help of this English language. Okay, because it is the commonly uh, used or universal language, we can get the information of different cultures in this language only. Okay, in the mother tongue and this language. So that is why it will open the doors of new cultures. The next is you will travel comfortably. So if you want to travel comfortably uh, with the with your family members or with your colleagues, then if you want to travel to the European countries, or you want to travel the world, then if you want to know, if you don't know the English language, or if you don't understand this language, then it becomes difficult to uh, be a happy journey. Okay, so for traveling comfortably also, you will have to know this language. It is the most open language, as we have discussed in the lectures before also. English language is the most open language. Why it is open? Because it is accepting that this language is accepting the words from all over the world. Okay, so this is the open language, and they are adding this language is adding different words from all over the world. Okay, so the words like juggi or uh, roti, curry, these are the words which are added from Indian language or Hindi language. Okay, Indian languages, and we also are adding their words in our language also. Okay, so in Marathi, what we call table with, we call table with table itself. Okay, because this word table is accepted as a Marathi word itself. Okay, though it is English word, but it is accepted as a Marathi word. Okay, so that is why it is the most open language. It is the language of art and literature. So we can find that most of the literature in this world has written in this language only. Okay, most of the literature it is written in this language or translated in this language. It is also the language of translation. Okay, so if we want to understand what the French people or German person is speaking to us, it becomes easy with the help of this English language. Okay, so it is the language of art and literature, and it also eliminates language weaknesses. So it eliminates language weaknesses means the weaknesses that we are facing with our language or our mother tongue, that can be eliminated with the help of this language. Okay, so these are the reasons to learn this English language. It's almost 2:56. Okay, there are only 4 minutes left, so I will prefer to take your roll call. Okay, so I will call your roll number. You have to just answer to that. Roll number 1,
Present, sir.
2,
Present, sir.
roll number 3,
Present, sir.
roll number 4,
Present, sir.
5, roll number 5, roll number 6,
Yes, sir.
roll number 7, roll number 7, roll number 8, roll number 8, 9,
Yes, sir.
10. Roll number 10. 11,
Yes, sir.
12. Roll number 12. 13,
Present, sir.
14,
Present, sir.
15. Roll number 15. 16,
Present, sir.
17. Roll number 17. 18,
Yes, sir.
19,
Yes, sir.
20, 21,
Yes, sir.
22, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, okay, 24 is present, 25,
Present, sir.
26, roll number 26, 26 present, 27, roll number 27, 28, 28, 29, 30, 31,
Yes, sir.
32, roll number 32, 33, roll number 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41,
Yes, sir.
42,
Yes, sir.
43,
Yes, sir.
44.
Present, sir.
ओके, झाले एवढेच आहेत ना नंबर? 44 पर्यंतच आहेत का? ओके, तर तुम्ही तुमचा रोल नंबर चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये टाकू शकता, ज्यांना प्रेझेंटी देता आली नाही किंवा ज्यांची राहिली असेल त्यांनी. ओके, you can chat your roll number also in the message box. So that it will be on the record. Okay, if you haven't commented your roll number in the chat box, please do that before leaving this meeting, so that it will be on your record. From my side also, if your roll number is not marked as an as for attendance, it will be on record that I don't get my roll number. ऋतुजा बोबडे, ऋतुजा बोबडे, तुम्ही तुमच्या CC जे कोणी असतील त्यांच्याकडनं तुमचा रोल नंबर घेऊ शकता. तुमचा रोल नंबर त्यांच्याकडेच असेल. तुमच्या CC ना फोन करा आणि त्यांच्याकडून घ्या. Okay, so shall I end this meeting from my side? Thank you for joining this lecture. We are having 2 lectures in a week. Okay. Okay, I will end this meeting from my side. Join to the next lecture which you are having. Okay. Thank you.